Affairs Minister Dr. SJaishankar stated that there is no policy to replace the dollar, emphasizing its role in global economic stability. He mentioned that BRICS does not have a unified stance on the issue as members hold diverse views. He stressed that India prioritizes working with the US to strengthen the international financial system, adding that strategic assessments and global economic needs will guide the approach.
Questions together. As I said, first of all, I don't think there's any policy on our part to replace the dollar. As I said, at the end of the day, the dollar as the reserve currency is the source of international economic stability. And right now, what we want in the world is more economic stability, not less. Now, obviously, there are, I would also say, in all honesty, I don't think there's a unified BRICS position on this. I think BRICS members, and now that we have more members, have very diverse positions on this matter. So the suggestion or the assumption that somewhere there's a united BRICS position against the dollar, I think is not borne out by facts. And to me, it's kind of deterministic that if there is multipolarity has to translate itself into a currency multipolarity. It doesn't have to. Again, even when I was explaining multipolarity, my point was that if there are multiple players, it's not that India's relationship with each player is the same. There are different considerations in each relationship. For us right now, we think that the United States as really, in many ways, clearly the largest economy in the world, in many ways, almost the fulcrum or the key player in the global international architecture. Our own relationship is growing. It's very positive. We do believe today that working with the United States and strengthening the international financial system, economic system, is actually what should be the priority. So I think that both a strategic assessment as well as our sense of what is required today by the international economy will really guide our thinking on this matter. On the two dollar questions together. As I said, first of all, I don't think
External Affairs Minister Dr. SJaishankar stated that the US new foreign policy was not surprising as political leaders generally follow their long-standing agendas. He expressed surprise that others were surprised by recent developments regarding India's interests. He noted that the policy was beneficial in many ways. He emphasized that India has had good relations with the recent US presidents and carries no historical baggage in its ties with America.
What do you make of the first 41 days of the US's new foreign policy? Is it good for India? Is it good for the world?
Well, it's interesting. And I think, and some of it, I must say in all honesty, is not surprising. If you actually tracked it and assume that most of the time, political leaders at least do much of what they promise to do. They do not always succeed or they do not always get everything they want, but as a general principle, when people, when political forces or political leaders have an agenda, and particularly if it is one which they have developed over a fairly long period of time and been very articulative and passionate about it, then I think much of what we have seen and heard over the last few weeks was to be expected. So I'm a little surprised that people are surprised. Now that said, is it good for India? In many ways, I would say yes. My Prime Minister was in Washington about 2 weeks ago. I had accompanied him. I was myself there for the presidential inauguration. And when I look at our interests and our expectations of the relationship, I think there's a lot of promise we see there. Conceptually, I think we see a president and an administration which in our parlance is moving towards multipolarity, and that is something which suits India.
When you say that they are moving towards multipolarity, do you mean accepting or even encouraging there being many poles of power in the world?
I think practicing, and by practicing, promoting. Since 1945, one tends to think and talk about the United States as US and the Western world. So it's more like a bloc rather than a nation.